My name is Jonathan Jones. I'll be your host and moderator for the afternoon. And I'd like to just applaud you all, first of all, for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here, because there's so many other things you could be doing on a Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon, depending on where you're from. But you've taken some time out to join us here for this weekly conference call discussion. And many of you have invited guests to be here because you believe that there could be some information that could be useful to you that we may share with you or share with someone that you care about that could potentially be a benefit to them. To be real clear, I'm not a medical doctor and don't claim to be one and don't ascribe to be one. I am a researcher. That's what I do. In fact, I'm the research director for the Healthcare Support Association of America. Now, I have a team of doctors that work with us, and the objective of our company, our private association, is to provide information, validated information, science, that could potentially help you or someone that you care about make decisions about your health and well-being. Our focus for the past few years has been the impact of micronutrients on various pathologies. We focus on glutathione, we focus on the immune system in general, and we focus on a number of different things that can have a direct impact on the immune system and different components of the immune system. Lately, of course, these past couple of years, it's all been about COVID-19. And what can we do to slow down the impact of COVID-19? I'm going to pass on to you. There's been two pieces of information that have come out before we get into our discussion about inflammation. And I think these two pieces of information, I believe, are important. And we're going to discuss them much more in-depthly and try to delve into some of the details with Dr. Prasad on April the 17th. But just in case, for some reason, these two pieces of information I cannot share with you at that time, I'm going to share it with you right now. They have discovered that there's a specific sequence of nucleotides on the virus itself. Now, those are just little small proteins, okay? There's a very specific sequence of them. I think it was 12 of them to be exact. And you can do the research on this yourself. You can find out for yourself. I didn't bring any other links for it. If you like the links to it, the references to it, just so that you can see that it is 100% not conspiracy, this is factual. They looked under a microscope and found a component of some creature. They found another component of another creature. These are all DNA components, all stacked together. Then they did a search, a massive search in the science database, and found that exact sequence with a United States patent attached to it. It's made in North Carolina. I'm not talking about vaccines. I'm talking about the actual virus itself, with a very specific sequence with a patent on it, made in North Carolina. So one of the primary components of COVID-19 itself is made in the USA. Now, it turns out the reason why that particular sequence was compiled was their goal was to try to, at some point, use DNA and mRNA technology to fight cancer. That was the original intent. So that sequence could have valid scientific use. So just keep that in mind. That particular sequence could very well have had a valid scientific use, but how it ended up walking out the door of a laboratory in Wuhan, China, is anybody else's guess. But there are some people who believe that it was it was not unintentional, but there's also other people who believe it was an accident. So you have to decide for yourself how it was that it was released. But know that a company whose name begins with a M was hold the patent for that particular sequence. Okay? And that's all I'm going to say about that. But they hold a patent for that particular sequence. Number two, have you ever heard of FOIA? That's the Freedom of Information Act. That's a law in the United States. It's a law in the United States. If you submit a Freedom of Information Act request, by law, the FDA or any government agency has to release information. And just recently, a judge ruled on a FOIA request that started about 2 years ago. And in that release, the FDA fought the release of these documents. But in there, it showed about 1,000 plus different potential adverse reactions that could come as a result of a treatment for that same particular virus that we're talking about. More than 1,000 potential adverse reactions that could come from it. Now, my question to you, did anybody see this on the news? Did anybody hear about any of this? Has it come from, why are you hearing it from, some nobody on a Sunday afternoon that there was more than 1,000 potential adverse reactions that could happen from a select treatment, for a virus? Now, again, that's not to say that there's some conspiracy taking place, nor is it to suggest that a treatment for the virus is a bad thing. I'm not saying that at all, because they've made some really good vaccines that have saved a lot of lives, and there are some huge benefits that have come from the vaccines that have been put on the market. But this kind of brings us to the subject that I promised that we were going to be talking about. We were going to be talking about micronutrients and inflammation. Now, I do not know if my device is going to hold up under the pressure right now. I really don't. So I'm going to apologize in advance if for some reason my device starts acting up or starts having some problem. But I'm going to try to share a couple of screens with you. One of the screens I want to share with you is where is it? It disappeared. This is a study from the National Institute of Health. And the screen was open. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Edge, Microsoft Edge, but Microsoft Edge is notorious for putting Windows to sleep so it doesn't use up resources on your device. And sometimes when it puts a window to sleep, it doesn't show up when you try to share it in Zoom. So that can happen. But I wanted you guys to see this because all I did was a quick search on a search engine to see, was there a connection between inflammation and toxins? And sure enough, the subject has been studied. And here, the National Institute of Health, you know what the National Institute of Health is, right? That's the government's national library of scientific published articles. So if it makes it into the National Institute of Health, into the National Library of Medicine, that means that this has been an established clinical study and has been peer-reviewed and valid. Here's the article. Inflammatory responses and inflammation-associated disease in organs. Okay? Now, I'm using this to just sort of lay the foundation for our discussion. But look at the abstract. Inflammation is a biological response of the immune system that can be triggered by a variety of factors, including pathogens, damaged cells, and toxic compounds. Pause. The body can produce an inflammatory response. Now, here's a question to you. Where can inflammation manifest itself? Anybody? Anyone? Just go ahead, unmute and say, where can inflammation manifest itself? Some particular area inside the body.
In your joints.
In the joints, that's right. It can manifest itself in the joints. And if it manifests itself in the joints, what does that turn into if you've got inflammation in your joints?
Arthritis.
Yeah. And what's another way of describing arthritis?
Painful.
Pain. Okay. So when we're talking about inflammation, we're not talking about, just a word. We're talking about something that is the manifestation of discomfort. And in some cases, severe. All right. But did you see what it said? So they're defining it for us. It can be triggered by pathogens. It can be triggered by damaged cells. It can be triggered by toxic compounds. Now, the first one, pathogens, we get that. That's something that comes into the body that's not supposed to be there. It could even be viral in nature. It could be a virus. That's the reason why lungs can be affected when a person comes down with a certain virus like COVID-19. Inflammation. That's the immune system responding to it. It shouldn't be there. But what about damaged cells? How does inflammation come as a result of a damaged cell? How does the cell get damaged? We talk about it a lot right here. It's called free radical damage. If a free radical takes a chunk out of a cell, because it's trying to steal electrons from atoms, and atoms make up cells. It's trying to steal an electron. It's trying to do damage to the DNA, and it's trying to do damage to the mitochondria. A damaged cell can lead to inflammation. Toxic compounds. Well, that's a no-brainer, right? That's a no-brainer. I'm going to show you a couple of slides and we'll talk about toxic compounds in a minute. So hold that thought for a moment, all right? We'll talk about toxic compounds in a moment. The paragraph continues. These factors may induce acute and or chronic inflammatory response. You all just mentioned the joints. You mentioned the joints. You mentioned arthritis. But look at what it says. Inflammatory responses in the heart, in the pancreas, in the liver, kidney, lung, brain, intestinal tract, reproductive system, potentially leading to tissue damage or disease. Both infectious and non-infectious agents and cell damage activate inflammatory cells and trigger inflammatory signaling pathways. And then they give the scientific name identifier for the pathways in particular. This particular study goes on to address the causal connection between toxins and many diseases. Many diseases. Look at the key words. If you were searching for this particular piece of information, if the way search engines work, you have to put keywords in there so that this article can come up somewhere. Inflammation, inflammatory signaling pathways, chemokines, cytokines, organ disease. We're not going to go through this entire article because it's very, very technical, but I'm going to try to give you a little summary of it, and that's where the slides are. We talked about cytokines and cytokine storm. That is how COVID-19 and the other viruses end up killing a person. Estelito just told us about his brother-in-law. Spent 14 months in the hospital as a result of COVID-19. He just passed away, so we're very sorry for that. And I have our deepest sympathies and condolences to Estelito and to your wife. But cytokine storm is a big part of the reason for an adverse outcome from that specific infection of COVID-19, cytokine storm. But again, you notice that organ diseases are connected with this. So I just want to back up here real quick for just 1 second, because I really want to emphasize this part of this discussion so that you guys go away from here. If you don't get anything else from this discussion, please go away from this discussion understanding that not only can toxins, free radicals, do damage to a cell, and a damaged cell can lead to inflammation, but it can also trigger inflammatory responses in the heart, in the pancreas, liver, kidney, lung, brain, intestinal tract, reproductive system, and lead to tissue damage or disease. And this all started with a what? A toxin or a free radical. Okay, I hope this is all making sense. So what we're talking about right now is how toxins can trigger inflammation. Another word for inflammation, if it's allowed to progress, is disease. Okay? Now, we talked a little bit one time about the immune system and the gut biome. And we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about the gut biome today, but you did notice that one of the areas where inflammation can manifest itself is in the intestinal tract. I don't have it here to show you now, but they have connected more than 200 different diseases to toxins in the gut. Hundreds of diseases have been connected to toxins in the gut. Those toxins come from a number of different sources. We've talked about it at length here, but this screen right here just shows you, this is from Harvard University, just gives you a basic flow chart as to how they genetically re-engineer something. This is how they genetically modify something. They find some particular trait that they're interested in nature. So they find a trait that exists in nature. The trait could be a resistance to freezing. The trait could be a resistance to a particular bug. A trait could be a resistance to the sun or a lack of need for water. Whatever it is, they find this trait that they want. They isolate the genetic component. They look at the DNA and identify where that trait is written in the DNA. Because, you know, the DNA is like a book, right? It's like a book. I'm not sure if you guys are real familiar with the fact that they now know how to actually write data into the DNA and take it out. They found out that a teaspoon of DNA could hold the Library of Congress. They literally wrote in that much information into a teaspoon of DNA and were able to successfully extract it out. Can you imagine that? That's like writing onto your SD card. They know how to do that now. So they take that little splice, and then here's the plant that they want to have this trait, and then they splice that into that plant. So the list of plants that they do that to, you know them, right? You guys are familiar with the plants that are most commonly genetically modified: wheat, soy, corn, right? And really the list goes on. So the vast majority of all wheat, before they even admitted to GMO, has been genetically modified since the 50s. There's an extra protein in GMO called gliadin, not gluten, gliadin. It's an extra protein that's in wheat. Very difficult for the gut to digest, not to mention gluten itself. Very difficult for the body to digest. If you want to do one single favor for your body and your health, cut out wheat. Cut wheat out of your diet. And everywhere that you can find wheat, cut it out and watch what happens to your body. Corn. The second, in my opinion, biggest thing you could do for your health is cut corn out of your diet. But now, be careful. Read the label. There's corn in almost everything. They might name it something else. They'll call it different things, but there's corn in almost everything. They give it a nice name. They started hiding fructose. It used to, because everyone figured out that fructose was corn syrup. So they started giving it different names, different milk. Just Google it. You'll see. Look for palm oil also. You want to stay away from palm oil if you see that in there. And any other kind of artificial sweeteners, you don't want that. You don't want that in your body. Soy, some 80 to 90% of all soy has been genetically modified. Now, the scientists assured the government that no GMO DNA would mix into the blood of a human. They've had to eat crow meat on that. But now that the horse is out the barn, how's that expression go? Whatever it is. Now that, genie out of the bottle, that's how they say it. The genie's out of the bottle, you can't put it back in. They've allowed and authorized all this GMO foods out there, and it is showing up in the blood. Now, are you scratching your head and saying, Are you trying to tell me that this is causing inflammation? Yes. I'm saying it in plain English. That's one of the many things that leads to inflammation. So if you can identify any GMO foods, avoid it. Avoid it. This is a list of some of the traits that they will look for and that they've spliced into foods. Again, this is not, I didn't come up with this. This is Harvard. So you see their tolerance to herbicides, canola, right? There's a bacteria that has a tolerance to herbicides. So they splice that in. And tomatoes they got some components spliced into it. Rice has components spliced into it. Apples, cantaloupes, papaya, flax. Why would you mess up flax? But they did. And most of it is tolerance to herbicides. What's another word for that? Are you thinking Roundup Ready? Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too. I guess we're on the same wavelength here. Tolerance to herbicides, meaning Roundup won't harm it. So they can spray the fields with Roundup and the corn will be fine. The tomatoes will be fine. The soy will be fine. The wheat will be fine. The rice will be fine, but they sprayed the entire field with Roundup. Now, when I went to school, I don't know if they still teach this today, but when I went to school, they taught that the roots went into the soil and the roots absorb nutrients and components from the ground into the plant. Now, plants have been trained not to absorb Roundup that will be in the soil that the roots are in and the water is, no, it's still happening. Those plants have Roundup in it. That's where oxidants is showing up in our food because they spray this weed killer all over these fields and we are ingesting it. Just Google it. That's Cheerios, by the way, that little girl is pouring into that bowl. There was a $289 million cancer verdict connected to cereal and granola bars. They found weed killer in it. How'd you like to pour some Roundup in a bowl of Cheerios with some honey? So get yourself some honey nut Cheerios and put a little milk on there and then sprinkle some Roundup in that bowl. You don't have to, it's already in there. They already added it. So I don't know if any of you eat Cheerios or any of those boxes of cereals. But as long as you are aware that you're ingesting toxic components that the government assures you is at a safe, harmless level, then you're okay. Just as long as you know, consider yourself informed. But these are just some of the diseases that have been linked to glyphosate. Are you wondering what glyphosate is? It's the active ingredient in Roundup. That's what kills the weeds. Okay, so this is what's in there, and this is what's now been identified by the World Health Organization as a known carcinogen. So these are just some of the diseases that have been connected to it. So the best thing that you can do is stop putting that in your body. Medicines can cause cancer. There's an association between diabetes medication and the risk of second breast cancer events and mortality. Medication, that's an abstract from PubMed, the National National Library of Medicine. And oh, there it is. I got the conclusion just marked out there for you. Our findings show an association between diabetes and increased recurrence risk that may be greater among insulin users. Metformin may reduce all-cause mortality among breast cancer survivors. Given the growing breast cancer survivor population, further research in larger and more diverse population is warranted. So they're finding out that there's a connection between diabetes medication and breast cancer. Toxins. That's all we're talking about here again is toxins and what can cause the body to be out of whack. Let's just put it that way. Let's use the vernacular, out of whack. If we stopped here, you'd all go home depressed or go watch TV with a bowl of ice cream and just give up. But you don't have to because of Dr. Prasad. Dr. Prasad is a renowned scientist and researcher, world-renowned. Member of the British Royal Academy of Medicine, first radiation biologist PhD in the world. Now, mind you, it takes 7 years to go through that course to become a radiation biologist PhD. He finished it in 3 years. Brilliant man. He's been published more than 250 times. That means that he's thought of 250 things. It's actually more than that, that other brilliant minds in the world hadn't thought of. He wrote it down, and the scientific community acknowledged that's brilliant. That's brilliant. And he's authored more than 31 books. He's working on his 32nd book right now. And I know he's working on other articles and has submitted some more documents for patent. So we have it's a distinct privilege on our part to be and anywhere associated with this man and have access to the research that he has produced and formulations that he has put together. And that kind of helps make this circle whole. Now we get to tie the circle off because of this man, we have access to books like this, Fighting Cancer with Vitamins and Antioxidants. We interviewed him about this a few weeks ago, by the way. And most of the videos and interviews of Dr. Prasad, by the way, can be found on my YouTube channel. So if you like to visit there, you're welcome to. I appreciate it. Just subscribe to the channel. It does help. It helps YouTube see that this material is relevant. And if you click like, it helps YouTube to share the information with other people. So if you want to do me a favor and other people a favor, just like and subscribe and share the videos with other people. But these are just a few of the clinical studies that Dr. Prasad was connected with. And all of this, you can say, have an inflammatory component to it because every single one of these is associated with a free radical or a toxin. And we've already proven that free radicals and toxins lead to an inflammatory response by the immune system, which lead to diseases. That's why he could easily do this research. It doesn't matter what topic he researches. It doesn't matter what disease he researches. It's going to lead to inflammation and some level of disease. But his formulation has been proven to have a direct impact on free radicals and oxidants and reduce inflammation. Okay, so that's it in a nutshell. That just tells you the whole story right there. So if you want to reduce inflammation, then you want to put this particular formula in your body. You want to share this formula with someone who wants to reduce inflammation. And it doesn't matter where it is. This will help to reduce it. And there's a number of scientific reasons why that we're not going to go into today because we just don't have that much time in this session today to go into, but we will delve into it deeper. And so you're more than welcome to make sure that you come back, especially when we're interviewing Dr. Prasad. But here's just a little snippet. Alpha-lipoic acid and N-acetylcysteine. Have you ever heard of those? Those two things are connected to the world's, you can read it there, most powerful antioxidant, glutathione. The most powerful antioxidant is made in your body. The most powerful antioxidant is made in your body. These two things, alpha-lipoic acid and N-acetylcysteine, trigger the production of it. And that's just two of the components inside microdaily that helps reduce inflammation. That's just two of the components. I hit the biggest one because, it's the biggest one. It's the most important one. Glutathione, critically important. Well, while we're at it, let me just tell you a little bit about vitamin E succinate too. Have you ever heard of vitamin E succinate? We've all heard of vitamin E, but most have never heard of vitamin E succinate. I have 30-something years in this industry, and I had never heard of it until I met Dr. Prasad. I didn't know there was a vitamin E anything else. I thought it was just vitamin E. But there's 6 different types of vitamin E. But Dr. Prasad figured out that vitamin E succinate in particular is cytotoxic to cancer cells. I don't know if you heard that or not, but that means that will kill cancer cells. Cytotoxic means will cause death. Vitamin E succinate will kill cancer cells. But it also happens to nourish the brain and protect the brain, and it happens to cross the blood-brain barrier. So think about it. If you're going to take vitamin E, and we all need it, wouldn't it be nice to take one that happens to kill, oh, by the way, kills cancer? Oh, by the way? Well, that's the one we have in Micro Daily. That's a pretty good deal, folks. That's an antioxidant. That's a pretty good. If for no other reason, take Micro Daily for the N-acetylcysteine, alpha lipoic acid, and the vitamin E succinate. Those are the top 3 reasons to take Micro Daily. That's why I'm not even going to bother to talk about the whole list of the other ingredients in there, because if those 3 things don't help you, nothing will. But these are the 2 best formulas right here. These are the 2 strongest formulas that Dr. Prasad has developed, the EMF and the methylated formula, the purple bottle and the red bottle. The purple bottle is $63 and the red bottle is $73 on subscription. So you buy it on subscription, then you get the discounted price. If you prefer to pay full price, that's fine too. If you're one of my clients and you prefer to pay full price, I'm fine with that, because that just means that I get paid that, the difference. I would prefer that you buy it on subscription, because then you get the discount and it's savings that you can put toward buying better food. So the money that you save instead of paying retail for this, you can put that toward buying a non-GMO apple, non-GMO corn, non-GMO breads and wheats, which is very difficult to find, by the way. You just need to stop eating wheat altogether. Just get gluten out of your diet. But let me see if I can share a video with you guys. I hope this is going to work. I make no promises right now. I apologize, because my technology is not that great these days. It's time for an upgrade. Jeff has been telling me I got to upgrade. I'm hearing him now. I'm hearing you now, Jeff. Okay, I'm going to stop the share first. Let me stop the share. And then let me find the video that, once again, I had already launched it, but it just doesn't seem to be sitting here in front of me for some reason. This one, I think most of you saw this one. Okay, no, I don't want you to see that one. I want you to see one that's currently, the only place I could find it was on YouTube, because I couldn't find it on my hard drive. So I'm going to try to share this one with you on YouTube. I have no idea if it's going to break my system or not. Okay, but I'm going to try, because I think you'll appreciate this particular story. Her name is Tressa. I shared the link with you guys earlier, and you may have seen it or not. I don't know, but I'm going to try to make it work. Optimize video clip. Share the sound. Let's play it, and let's try to maximize it.
Hi, Jonathan. Tressa.
Hi, Tressa.
I have a statement more so than a question. I received the product from Mike Daily Thursday. I can go back and say that I am a type 2 diabetic.
Okay, it's not going to work. Okay.
So what?
That's not going to work. Jeff, do you have that video, Jeff? Can you try to share it?
I do not have that particular one, but I've got another one from one of our visits to Texas, Sandra talks about the inflammation and the challenges that she has in her joints. And so I could share that. And I got another one with heart.
Oh, I love that. Go ahead. Let's do that one, please.
All right. So let me just share Sandra with you. And I apologize, as I was looking for this a few moments ago, I still had my audio working, and you heard her in the background. So 1 second. Here we go with Sandra.
I have arthritis in my fingers. I couldn't bend my fingers. And I can bend. It was my thumb and my baby finger. I can bend that now. I had a car accident around 2 years ago. My back had been bothering me a lot. Taking 800 ibuprofen. I no longer have to take the ibuprofen. Matter of fact, my husband has started the MMF because his back is acting up. I had a little knot growing on the side of my eye. It's been there for a long time, and it's gone down. And he noticed all these different changes in me. And so he is taking it himself. And in 3 days, I could see the difference in my body. So that's my testimony.
3 days. Wow.
3 days she was feeling a difference, and this was old enough where she was still referring to it as the micro, MMF, military micronutrient formulation. But we had another one, and this mother got up and talked about the daughter that she and her husband had adopted with severe chromosome deletion.
Oh yeah.
And some heart problems. This was also in Texas, but I mean, she talks about how her daughter's kind of woken up, but I want you to pay particular attention to the condition that she has and what went inside her heart. As you first started talking here today, we were talking about the implications and manifestations of COVID, long-term COVID, and how that not only affects the brain, but it affects the heart.
Yep.
Pay particular attention to what the microdaily has helped in this young lady's situation. So here we go.
For about a year now, I'm off my high blood pressure medicine, and I'm no longer pre-diabetic. I've been pre-diabetic for 10 years, and I'm no longer on any kind of medicine for that. Some of you may know my daughter. She's 11 years old. She's autistic. She's low verbal. Quick story. She's doing fabulous, by the way. She's riding horses right now. But she has Marfan syndrome. Marfan syndrome causes your aortic valve to expand. When that expands, you die because of growth spurts, especially in children. So in 2015, we had an echocardiogram done to see a baseline of where it was. They told us the results came back fine. Everything was normal. We go back 9 months later. The doctor's comparing the results. He comes into the room and he shakes my hand and he says, "Pam, I am so sorry we misdiagnosed your daughter. They did not input her vital signs correctly when they did the echocardiogram. So the results, which had stretching of her aortic root, were for a woman 25 to 30 years old, not for a 10-year-old. So my daughter was living on borrowed time and I didn't even know it. The only difference that I had done with her was starting the microdaily in June of that year. The doctor showed me the results, and you could see where on the aortic valve there was scar tissue, meaning that it had healed itself. And that was the only thing, other than by grace of God, that she was with us. So we started on some medicine, and supposedly was going to stop the aortic root from stretching, but it's just a miracle what it does from the inside out. You were talking about how great you felt. I was feeling horrible because I was on all this medicine that I did not need to be on. And now that I'm off of it, I'm feeling freaking fantastic. I'm 50 years old and I've got more energy than I ever had. The results I'm seeing also with Keela, and since she's been on it for a long time, her speech, although it's not getting better, it's becoming clearer. She has partial chromosome deletion. That affects a lot of her speech, but it's just getting better. Her daily life is getting better. At the end of the day, she's still autistic. She'll still always be autistic, but what the MMF does for her is changed her quality of life. It's helping with the Marfan syndrome because she's no longer waking up in the morning moaning because she's in such pain. She's waking up happy. In fact, she woke up this morning singing a song. And I was like, yeah, this is a way to start your day. But overall, MMF has just been fantastic and what it's done for me and my daughter. We cannot be happier. And I'm really looking forward to starting her on the protein shakes. It's actually pretty good. She might just go ahead and take it. But it's just been a really great thing. So I think.
Wow. Wow. Jeff, that's remarkable, Jeff.
Thank you for allowing me to share. It's been a joy. That's fun. Let me give you this little view as well. So here we are in Command Central when you talk about doing a little upgrade. Just kind of tease you a little bit.
See, I told you guys he's beating on me to do some upgrades. So it's about to happen. So that's why we're teaming up on this. So whatever we need to do, we're passing on our validated information. So thank you, Jeff. So there you have it, folks. We're going to just stay here for just a minute to take any of your questions. But I hope that you were able to connect the dots. I hope you got enough information here to connect the dots to realize that we're not talking about any vitamin or anything else that treats or cure disease. By law, we're not allowed to make any claims that any vitamin will treat or cure disease. And we're not saying that, but we are saying that micronutrition in your body can cause the body to untrigger what has been triggered by toxins. It can offset what's been triggered in the body. So if you want to offset what's been triggered in your body that you have no control over, you didn't cause it except the fact that you may have made some bad choices in eating genetically modified food, but that's not your fault. It's right there at the grocery store. It's not your fault. But now that you know better, you can do better. Make some better choices. And if you can't make better choices, the one thing you can do is add micronutrition to your diet. And that will fight against what you can't control. So let's go ahead and take some questions, or I would venture to say, Jeff, that one or two people here have probably experienced a decrease in pain as a result of adding micronutrients in their body. So let's see if there's a comment or questions that that anyone has. We've only got another 4 minutes here before we bring this to an end. So we can take a couple of minutes right now with your questions or share your story, whichever. It doesn't have to be necessarily an inflammation story either, but because it doesn't matter what the disease is, guess what? It started with inflammation and immune system response that went awry. No? Okay. All right. Then no questions. Okay. So here's a common question. Are there any adverse side effects to microdaily? Well, yes and no. Yes, microdaily will try to get toxins out of your body. And in the process of getting toxins out of your body, sometimes it's not a picnic. It's like if you're trying to plant a tree because you like to grow some oranges or some lemons or something, you literally have to dig a hole in the ground. And if it was a manicured lawn, that spot's not going to look so good because you just tore up the lawn. But you dig that hole, put that tree in there, and give it a minute, and it's actually going to produce some really good fruitage. So when you put micronutrients in your body, toxins are trying to go someplace, and they normally start getting dumped into the lymphatic system or dumped into the bloodstream. You have to drink plenty of water to make them get out of the body. You got to give them a pathway to go. If you don't give them a pathway out, they will go to the weakest part of your body. So our encouragement is make sure that you drink plenty of water. The correct amount of water, take your body weight. If you weigh 200 pounds, let's say for a man, and cut that number in half, it's 100. The correct amount of water is 100 ounces. So whatever your weight is, divide that number in half. That's how many ounces you should be drinking per day. Okay, so it's not just a flat 8 glasses a day. Drink the correct amount. Too much water is just as bad as not enough. Okay, so that's one common question. Make sure you drink plenty of water because you could potentially experience detox reactions called Herxheimer effect. Microdaily is not doing you harm. It's trying to help you. A lemon tree is going in, and soon you're going to have lemonade. Just be patient. Ride it out. Drink some water, put some stevia on it, and you're going to have lemonade in a minute. Okay, so that's it. Microdaily is not causing problems. We got a hand up here. Ben Joseph. Looks like
Yes.
there's some, go ahead.
I am dealing with a situation with my my left knee, and I believe I torn the meniscus in my
That's
knee.
not fun.
Yeah, because I'm on a walker. I can't walk. I don't have real good balance, and I can't really bend the knee.
Mhm.
And well, I do have arthritis, and the synovial fluid in the knee has dissipated. So I'm just wondering, will the microdaily help, and which version should I use?
You can, if all you can afford is the original formula, all the patents and all the clinical studies were done on the original formula. So you're fine, with that, if that's all you can afford. Our recommendation is at least the methylated formula. And the reason for that is because the methylated B12 and methylated folic acid has additional benefits. I only talked about 3 things in microdaily: N-acetylcysteine, alpha lipoic acid, and vitamin E succinate. Those are the only 3 things I mentioned. But in the methylated formula, the purple bottle, and in the red bottle, there's methylated B12 and methylated B9. Both of those are extremely good for the gut, and extremely good for the central nervous system, and extremely good for dozens of other things. So there's a huge number of benefits going with methylated Bs. So that's the purple bottle. If you're also worried about EMF and you can afford it, the red bottle is the best. So for anyone whose budget will allow it, which to me, an extra $10 for also happening to get rid of the radiation problem with our cell phones and our devices, I think that's the better way to go. So you will find yourself benefiting greatly from the EMF formula if your budget will allow it. Just take 3 consistent times a day.
Okay, so that's the red bottle.
Correct.
And I heard you mention the nervous system. So would that be the best formula also for a recovering stroke patient?
Oh yeah. But let me back up again. Even the green bottle has benefited someone from stroke that has recovered from it. Even the green bottle, the original formula. However, when you add methylated Bs, yes, it takes it to another level. So I would highly recommend, at the very least, the methylated formula.
That's not the red bottle.
That's the purple, at least the purple bottle.
But if a person can't afford the red bottle, then they should go with the red.
All it does is give you more benefits. That's all. So the red bottle just gives you more benefits. It's the strongest formula. That's all.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
for a long time, I only used the green formula and the hydro. And I was missing out on a lot of good stuff. So now I got more red bottles laying around me. I think I got a box of about eight bottles right over there now that I just got in, and some more on the way. We're not running out of that. We will not run out of it. So, but thank you for your question, though. Now, as far as your torn meniscus is concerned, you know that nothing is going to fix a mechanical problem except a mechanical solution, right?
Okay.
So it will help keep the inflammation down. But if you got to have a meniscus repair, you got to get the meniscus repaired. So it won't miraculously fix a mechanical problem. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, but thank you for your question. I'm glad that you chimed in. All right.
Thank you.
Mhm. Sonia Anthony.
Hi, Jonathan. Thank you for letting me get
Oh,
on.
There you are. Okay, very good. Very good. Very good.
Okay. Just with Royalty's question on the stroke patient, shouldn't she also have them take the brain boost along with whatever else they
Would
take?
be very good to add the brain boost along with it. The brain boost is food for neurons. I also was ignorant at one point and thought that you could not produce new neurons and couldn't grow new neurons. That's a misnomer. That's no longer true. It is now known that given the right components, the brain can literally produce new neurons. So yes, the brain boost would also be very good for someone who is recovering from a stroke.
Okay, that's all I wanted. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for adding that additional question and helping us to clarify that.
And, Jonathan, I actually have a video in regards to somebody who'd had a stroke years earlier.
Oh, great.
And how the Microdaily original formula assisted her. I mean, she goes
Let's
into
do
quite
it.
an explanation, but if you're good with it here, let's run it.
Yeah, let's run it.
Let's see. December 18th of 04, I had an ischemic stroke in the left thalamus of the brain. It's a rare place to have a stroke. It's not a very good place to have a stroke.
No, like there's a good place.
They said I would never walk again. And I was determined that I was going to do that. So anyhow, I did all the stuff that we do, all the therapies, did it for years. Got to a certain point. But the problem with the stroke being in the left thalamus is several. First of all, I had neuropathy on one half of my body. So it started with my whole head, eyes, ears, neck, all the way down, just cut me right in half, hand, foot. And that's just terrible. All you ever feel is neuropathy, the cutting, the burning, the stabbing, and then that's your life. And they give you drugs, but it doesn't ever make it go away. It never stops. I could never wear sandals. I always had to have something thick on my foot because it hurt. The other thing that happened to me, my short-term memory loss, which was so frustrating, being it was in the left thalamus, just destroyed the short-term memory. Never had a hope of that ever coming back. I could never remember anybody's names. I couldn't, I went anywhere in the car. If I had to go the next day, doctor's appointment, wherever you go to, I had no idea where to go or where I was or what part of town I was in. That's how bad it was. I would go to any restaurant, any place, and I would always walk out of the bathroom and I could never figure out how to get back to my table. That's how short my memory was. So I struggled with that for 10 and a half years. And then I got on this in June, a year ago in June, and I started taking it, and the pain was a little bit less. After about 5 months, I thought, I'm going to try cutting back on some of the drugs, just see what happens, right? I was on amitriptyline, baclofen, Zocor, Lyrica, and meloxicam. And before MMF, I couldn't probably tell you one of those names because I couldn't remember. But so I started weaning off after about 5 months on it and just kept trying, and I was like, doggone it. I didn't feel any worse pain by weaning off, but I was starting to feel better. I wasn't so tired. And then, brain fog started going away. Relatively, it's still there. I know, they know me.
I know you.
Yes, I know, still there, but not as bad. You didn't know me before. So it's a lot less. I now can remember which way to come out of the bathroom when I come back to my room. So all of those things.
She drove herself here.
Yes. And then all of a sudden too, I'll just tell you real quick, even 3 months ago, my hand uncurled for the first time. Did you?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
this pinky was always like this. This was always giving everybody the finger, and it was really, really strange. And all of a sudden, that just uncurled. Another thing, when you have a stroke, you really can never do a lunge. You just can't do that because your whole side goes like this. So all of a sudden, I'm able to do that kind of thing. I can do the stroke stand a little bit. So, anyhow, that's it. Thanks a lot.
Wow, Jeff. The story just gets better and better and better every time we tell it.
It's fun to be able to come across all of these old videos and go, wow, gosh, that's why we're doing this.
That's it.
It has been so much fun, and we're going back through our phones because these are videos that we took at meetings, and when we were in somebody's living room, we ran across one the other day that he'd actually run his thumb through a saw, cut his thumb off, and they attached it back on, and he's never had feeling in his thumb. And it's like, I remember that, but I've got videos like that as we have done this. And now that you and I are hooking up, we're recording some of these people from their living rooms, discussing how significant the microdaily has been in their lives and what it's done for them. And we'll be able to share some of those videos, just like a couple of weeks ago when you shared with us, Martha, and I've got another one that we did. So
that's it. Well, we're gonna keep sharing them because it's stories like these that help people to realize that this is not just a vitamin. It's not just some old multivitamin that you can pick up at the drugstore or some health food store. This one is very different. So that's the end of our presentation for today, folks. We want to thank all of you for joining us, and always thank Jeff Ashby, my co-host, for joining us. Jeff is the reason that many of us were introduced to this product. So we all owe Jeff a thanks, a debt of gratitude for sharing this information to us. He pushed past some objections and some arrogance and some ignorance to ram this stuff down our throat. And I'm glad that he was undaunted, he and his wife both, and not phased, and persisted in making sure that we had access to this, because a lot of people are benefiting from it. The video that I sent out to everybody, if you haven't seen it yet, I'm going to share it again. Send me a text to 754-300-8909. 754-300-8909, because I want to share that video, and I'll put it on one of our meetings, but you need to see it, because Tressa tells her story about a mass she had on her liver, and turns out it was inflammatory in nature, and all she did was add micronutrients to her diet, and it went away. The pain went away from it. So she had back surgery and all kinds of other things, but that was all ameliorated by micronutrients in her body. So send me a text, 754-300-8909. I'll add you to our WhatsApp chat. And in our WhatsApp chat, you get access to everything that we're sharing with folks, little by little, okay? All right, folks. Jeff, thank you very much again. So we'll be back next week, 5 o'clock. Remember, folks, spread the word. We're meeting at 5 o'clock on Sundays now going forward. And did you write down April 17th?
Yeah.
We'll be interviewing Dr. Prasad about the impact of micronutrients on COVID long haulers. So we're going to be doing a deep dive on COVID long haulers and the impact of microdaily with the man himself. Okay, that's what that's going to be. We have a couple more meetings coming up too, Jeff, where Dr. Prasad is being interviewed. Isn't that right?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, just this coming Wednesday is going to be our Ask Dr. Prasad evening, and that's always a high point for me every month. It's the first Wednesday of the month, so we'll have Dr. Prasad on this coming Wednesday, the 6th, right? Yes.
Do we use the same link we had last Wednesday?
Correct. Yes, same link that you had last Wednesday, and then the following Wednesday on the 13th, we're going to be talking about the CBD boost and how significant that comes when anyway, just there's some exciting things be watching your emails and getting back with the person who invited you onto these calls. But there's some pretty amazing things that are going on.
Well,
Yep.
thank you so much, Jeff and Jonathan. Thank you so much.
We are happy to be helping you guys. And remember, testimonials are anecdotal. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. We don't know the clinical circumstances around someone else's circumstance, but we do know micronutrients will help any human being one way or another. It will help. There's no question about it. Belinda has an additional comment on the way out the door here. Belinda, go ahead.
Yes, good evening. Yes, like someone said, can you give us the number for the 8 o'clock meeting, and will y'all have it where more than 100 people can come in? Because I kept trying to get on there past to about 8:20, 8:25.
Yeah,
so,
that's been expanded. That's been expanded to like 500 now, so there's no problems there.
Okay, thank you so much.
And if you guys are in my WhatsApp chat, if you're in the WhatsApp chat, all of the correct Zoom information for every single meeting will always be posted there. So make sure you send me a text so that you can join that WhatsApp chat. I'll put you in there and I'll make sure that that information makes it to you every time. Okay.
Yeah. And Jonathan, don't you have the recording from last week for those who missed it? Okay.
I shared that recording already in the WhatsApp chat. So for any who are there, they've already got that the full recording for the EMF discussion. And this recording here will also be posted as soon as it's available, because we stream it straight to live stream to YouTube every single time. And as soon as we edit off the front of it, then we post a link to this also in the same WhatsApp chat. So it's available. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you.
See y'all next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you. Bye-bye.
Just too many good things.
Yeah. I've got so many fun things to share.
Just too many good things.
Yeah, particularly when I can go in and I can hold up bottles like this and say, "Isn't this amazing?"
Yeah.
What do you think about the sign there in the background?
That's just amazing. Live on the air. Just slap your own face, Jeff. Just slap your own face.
Let's get you there.
Yep, okay. I'm telling you, I'm upgrading. I'm going for an upgrade. Watch out, it's happening.
Okay. And
I'll bet you guys.
so good to do these with you. This just has been amazing. Love it. Love how we can reach out and connect with so many people.
And we're just getting started, buddy. We're just getting started.
You guys are such an excellent team. I have to tell you, watching this is better than anything. You guys, it's awesome. I can't wait. I'm sharing it with like 10 people. So when this goes out, I'll be posting it. Thank you both so much.
All right. Thank you, Lydia.
That's amazing.
All right. Good night.
Jeff, is that video that you just showed with the young lady who had the stroke, recovered from the stroke? Will that be made available on the WhatsApp?
I can't put it out there in the WhatsApp.
Not separate. It'll be in this video though.
Yeah. But if you want to put together an individual Zoom and I can share that with somebody, we're doing a lot of what we call virtual in-home presentations, VIPs, where, I get a handful of people together, 5-6 people together. And it's so powerful when I can go through my list of videos and share incredible things. I've got so many stroke stories, including my very own father. And so if you want to just connect with Jonathan, we designate a time. I'm available, most of the days during the day. Our evenings are getting a little full, but let's do a VIP, a virtual in-home presentation, and we can start sharing some of these things. And it's much more powerful than just trying to send a video to somebody, say, "Hey, watch this," because they're always going to have questions. And like Jonathan does such an incredible job in not only commenting about it, but then bringing it full circle as to why it is significant that these people are having the results that they are. So
yeah, this is a phenomenal. My fiance has he's been having some difficulty with his gums, his teeth. And his dentist had said that he has bad periodontal disease.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the micro daily would be good for that?
So my very own experience, we've been out on the road. I didn't have access to a dentist, and I had a toothache that was just, oh my goodness. It hurt so bad I could hardly sleep. And I did this. I opened up a bottle of these. I took one of these capsules. I slipped it inside my mouth right down next to where that tooth was. And I just let it completely dissolve right there by the tooth. I did another one on the other side inside. And I let them dissolve. And I'm telling you, that fast. I mean, I woke up the next morning, the toothache was not there. We've had numerous individuals when we came out, first of all, with the hydro version, we had a lot of people that were noticing huge periodontal improvements by swishing it around in their mouths. And so we always say with the hydro, sip, swish, and then swallow. But if you're
what is the hydro?
The hydro is the micro daily in a stick pack version. It's just like, so it'd be like Crystal Light. And you just tear open this, empty it into a bottle of water, and it is like micro daily original. It'd be like the green bottle, and in a very
tasty.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I had some of that. A friend of mine gave me some of that when I had COVID.
There you go.
And it worked too. It
really did. It works. This is Dr.
And it tastes good.
Favorite. Yeah, Dr. Prasad is saying, this is the fact it says micronutrients at the speed of now. That's good. Little thing on there. So definitely got to get some of that into your system. So sip, swish, and swallow with that, or just take any of the micro daily family. Jonathan is suggesting the purple if they can't afford the EMF, but either way, just get it in your mouth. It may not taste the best, but it's going to do amazing things.
I'm going to push that EMF because I already have I have a store inside a mall.
Wow.
Well, what it is it's a store that allows the locals to come in and they can stock their products in the store. And so I already have like CBD products that I have stocked in the store, and I'm going to push that EMF because that's a major thing. I mean, I think that's just like
just have that video, the 5G video running in the background. Stops, watches just a moment or two of that video, and they realize the significance as to what's going on and the answer that we have to it. In fact, it's I would suggest grabbing some of these little flyers. You can get these right there in your back office, and it starts right out. Why is 5G not safe? It's backwards in my screen, so I can't. But it's we have the answer and we have the solution, and there it is. This incredible red bottle.
I don't kind of look. I kind of try to get people to understand, value over price. So I heard Jonathan say, if you can afford it, I cannot not afford it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you look at the price of, the pharmaceutical drugs, versus what one bottle will cost you to rectify and turn around a problem in your body.
Yeah.
Why not?
You can't put a price on it.
No, you can't.
There'll be some information coming out where we've got an individual that was consuming an entire bottle a week of this.
Wow.
And amazing results with something out there that starts with a C and rhymes with cancer. And so pretty amazing stuff that's gone on, and you can't put a price on it. I mean, a bottle of, you can imagine what he was consuming, and no toxic buildup.
Doesn't matter what it costs.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Will it help with glaucoma? Reversing glaucoma. What do you guys?
This is the foundation, and then I would add eye boost, and I've got a video that I could go to right now. I'm not going to. I'm going to tease you with that. Get together one of these virtual in-home presentations, and I can share a ton of stuff. So, I mean, Jonathan still has a streaming live on YouTube, so I'm not going to get into some of these things because I don't want to get into trouble. But
right.
Let's do these virtual in-home presentations, and I can share a ton of stuff with you. Some of them just absolutely current videos. Some of them a little older, but it's all significant.
It still happened.
It doesn't matter. It's the testimony.
That's true.
It happened. So, well, next week we'll pick up on some of those, the same topic, because we're going to keep going forward, because I think diabetes needs to be just hammered against. So,
absolutely.
I've got another series of slides that I'm going to be sharing, especially about diabetes, because we got to do something about this thing, and we've got an answer.
Yep.
So the EMF is good for the digest. I'm going to ask that question, and then I'm out. So the EMF, no, because the reason why I'm asking is a friend of mine, her brother, just had a massive stroke, and he is diabetic. I mean, really, really bad. Yeah. I mean, he has diabetes really, really, really bad. To the point where, because the diabetes affects your liver, it affects your eyes, it affects all of the major organs.
That's
so
right.
Like right now he's on dialysis and everything, and they have him on a feeding tube. I haven't talked to her in a couple of weeks, but the last time I talked to her, he was, they had him on a feeding tube. So, yeah, I
got a video where we were, the parents of this little girl were giving her the micro daily through her feeding tube, because that was her only ability to get any nutrients in. In fact, I had it queued up for today's presentation, but we ran out of time. Let's get these virtual in-homes going.
Okay.
And I things.
Done deal.
Who's your sponsor, Miss Joseph?
Ben Joseph.
Who's your sponsor?
I haven't joined just yet.
Okay, who invited you?
The first person that ever told me about Michael Daly was Norma Jean Vaughn.
Okay, yeah, she's on now. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, very
and
good.
Then, yeah, and then Sonia Anthony had told me about it as well.
Okay.
So yeah, but I had known about it maybe about 2 years or so ago, because Norma, she was getting the packages in.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, better late than never. So either way, you're in the family. See, we're all part of the same team, so that's fine. So you've also got my phone number now. And you send me a text at 754 number, and I can connect you directly with Jeff for these VIP meetings. If you've got a group to put together, okay?
Okay, no problem.
So we're behind you.
So
we'll do
much.
what we can to help you, all right?
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening.
Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
You betcha, Jonathan. This is a lot of fun. We can just do this and do this.
I'm telling you, and never stop. All right, Angelique and Norma Jean, we'll see you guys.